it is submitted to the minister to take to fair. So it is not in Benin that we are going to begin again. So when we send to every member over the next 2, we don't have vacation. So by first week in January, you'll be getting the stakeholder groupings. If you find your group, please indicate that you are coming for that meeting. You're either representing your group or you're even coming by yourself because you have something to say and you want to be heard. And we will hear and we'll record your opinion. That's number 1. Number 2 is to find money. That we go back. This is very important. I will beg, and my main people are here. They are all sitting together. They've been very kind. I must once again register the support we receive from Temple Management, from Beth King, and from Coronation Capital. Whatever their reasoning, they've seen that what the work being done is important, and it would open up this sector. We're all scratching the surface. Annually, $500 million annually for the next 10 years to be pumped into the sector. That's the target. That's why when Yaya joined us in March, his gray hair was not like this. So I can tell you categorically. Well, now he's almost all white because I'm telling him, and that's what he's got to go and find every year so that we can actually leverage this industry. So we encourage interested parties to be part of it as business leaders. And to answer Madam Tayo's comment that from an economic point of view, how does it trickle down? For the belief is that if you put in place the structures to support talent development, you will get better talent. So the whole world where they have great talent is simply because business developed the model to ensure that talent is discovered in a scientific and business sustainable way. So if we can get business to do the back end of the sports industry, the front end we all see when we get up in the morning on Saturday and we are doing pressing the remote, is guaranteed. So thank you very much as we look to come and tap all of you from January 1 next year. And on that note, I think, Oria, what's the next item on the agenda? No, it was vote of thanks. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was questions. I think I would really hate it that nobody has one question. No, we have to thank Madam T. She stayed behind. She's off to Benin to go out for the MOC meeting on Edo 2020. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, so you need to go. Thank you. God bless. Thank you. Able member. Thank you. So I'd really, really, really hate it that there's no question.
No, I don't really have a question except to say congratulations as always, but also to say that I think something that will be very useful to the whole process and that will help to get, because I think part of what we really need to do over the next 6 months is we need to get public buy-in, right? And that public buy-in will need to come from the private sector. The private sector is always skeptical about government, we all know this. So I think that even from today, as the EFG, yourself, this is our 2020 plan that is here. I think we should make it public. This document, we need to share it widely so that people who want to criticize it can criticize it, but there's nothing to hide, right? So that they can see it, across the WhatsApp platforms, the social media, Twitter, wherever, LinkedIn, so that people can have something to hold on to and then we can begin to push a communication agenda behind this stuff. Because I think with advocacy, which is what we're really doing, if we can get to the stage where, we have public buy-in, then it's easier to get funding. That's it.
Thank you very much. Spoken like a communication person, and I agree with you totally. And the SITG agrees with you, particularly your EFG. You guys have been saying this for a while, so let's see how we can put it in. From January next year, we'll start pushing this. Yes, sure. Yeah, sure. Yes, we'll send it out. We'll send it out as part of communication for this meeting, and then both the report and this, and then let's let it roll. Yes, hold on.
Yes, I would play the role of the judge in the appellate panel who say, I concur. I was about to talk about the sharing these information, and I found out that has been taken on board. I associate myself wholeheartedly with what my brother Obi has said, and then we take things for granted, really, publicly. What Nkechi brings on board is amazing. My colleagues who work with me, I'm in Supreme Court, I'm everywhere, but I keep on board. When Charles Ndokez, I said, this is what it is. He came back to me, I was like struggling for words. He said, this lady Nkechi is, I said, what did I tell you? He said, her enthusiasm is so infectious, and providing proper leadership. I was telling some people somewhere that when Nkechi takes credit for bringing the supposedly topmost or eminent sports lawyer in Nigeria, I say it's due to her. Yes, because when they started for those of you who do not know, when Team Nigeria started, I was general counsel, I started doing stuff, and Nkechi goes like, oh, you have interest in this? She was the one who was pointing me out to seminars and conferences on sports law in London, in US, and I was just going. Like, it's all about advocacy. You just getting the knowledge. Sometime my former partner said, you spend all this money to be doing this. And then we get together where government people, I remember one time talking to an NFA General Secretary and Chairman. I said, I'm interested in, you see, they just cringed. So government people, you bring the law bit of it, because it's talking about law and order and regulated, which you cannot do without in any business. But if I found out up until recently, like this with what I saw with the current minister, it's like the people in government, the public sector are sort of very wary. Because in the public sector, there are no free lunches. It must make sense. And for it to make sense and well regulated, law is central to all those things. So we were just getting the information. And I say all along, all I tell you, and I challenge each and every one of us, like, let's make 2020 a high watermark year. I have said that I'll get my PA. Say your first stuff in now is first thing is what we're doing in NESG to push law as a business in Nigeria, because we have so much potential. Like everything in Nigeria, potentials everywhere. The amount of money that Nigeria parcel out and send to the EPL directly or indirectly is humongous. And there are things we can do, and we're doing it here. So I commend you and commend each and every one of us for what we're doing, and that next year shall be better, by God's grace. Thank you.
Okay. I'll give it to Dr. Tando. These are all people who are...
You know, these days you forget that he's a lawyer. You think he's a sports person. not just a lawyer, but an SCN. First of all, I just want to commend the team for what you have done so far. I must say I'm very much impressed. I recall when all this started and Nkechi brought many of us on board. But I can tell you that I didn't expect that it was going to get this far. So I must really commend all those that have worked on this. I looked at the presentation. I just want to point out two areas. The first thing, when you were talking about the development partners, you missed out the BOI because, you know, we had an engagement with them sometime, I think 2 years ago, where they actually pledged their support for the sports industry. So I think we need to include them in that. And then secondly, when you were talking about the road shows, I was discussing with the SAN just now that you need to add Dubai to cover the Middle East and Asia, because no, I think it should even be phase one, because already they're showing a lot of interest in sports in Nigeria. There's some investment already coming from there in sports events in Nigeria, and we can tap into that, especially if we begin to go to them with this policy that is backed by government and the private sector as well. So I think we need to include Dubai as phase one. Yes, there's a lot of investment there, and just like you know, there's a sports city that has already been developed there, and all that you find there is businesses investing in sports. And of course, they'll be looking for outlets in big populations like Nigeria. And then also, I just want to let Nkechi know that I think I'll be more available now to support your work. Please don't take note too much, because I know Nkechi won't let me rest. But I think I'll be more available now, and I really want to thank you for what you have done, and I think we should all join hands to ensure that we take it to the next level.
Okay, let me pass.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I thought it was by afternoon. My name is Yemi Okunoren. Kechi did throw this open some time ago. I have to say I didn't know it was anything this serious. It won't. It won't be the first time people have tried to get things done from the private sector. How does the private sector get involved? My background, I'm a technology engineer, but I also do a lot of strategy work. I have done a lot for some baby steps in the past with Mr. Obi.